Hi everybody, what's up? Kwaku here. I'm bringing you your final life words video for this week in our series looking at Exodus. It's been a good one, it's been great, and I'm going to be wrapping it up for you. We're going to be looking at Exodus chapter 14. So, as always, I'm going to share some thoughts and reflections with you around this passage of scripture. So, let's dive right in. So, in today's video, we're looking at Exodus chapter 14. And this is pretty much the climax ending of this story. You see, Egypt has been hit with all the 10 plagues, and Pharaoh's heart has finally turned, and he's allowed the Israelites to leave Egypt. He set them free. They go with Moses out into the wilderness to the promised land where God is going to take them. But before they get there, they have to cross the Red Sea. And on this journey, we have a little look back at Pharaoh in Egypt, and we see him change his mind. He becomes angry again and outraged, and he's eager to chase down the Israelites and make them slaves again. So he gathers his army, and he goes out to chase them down. You see, the story reaches ahead when the Israelites reach the Red Sea. You see the seas in front of them, Pharaoh's army is behind them, coming up from them in Egypt, and they're frightened. And while they're frightened, all the people of Israel are crying out. They're like, we shouldn't have left Egypt, we shouldn't have left, it was better being a slave. And Moses turns to them and tells them to be still. He says, remember the God that rescued you out of Egypt. Remember the God that rescued you, and you're going to see his glory displayed before you today. And Moses goes to cry out to God, and God tells Moses, don't cry out to me. Do as I'm going to tell you. Pick up your staff, raise it over the sea, and you'll see it part before you. And that's exactly what happens. Moses raises his staff, and the sea is divided before them. And the people of Israel get to walk on dry ground. And as they're on dry ground going through the Red Sea, the Egyptians chase after them. But as the final people of Israel cross through the Red Sea onto the other side, the waters rush in. The Egyptian army is drowned in the pursuit of the people of Israel. And the people of Israel celebrate because God's rescued them out of slavery. God displayed all his power and glory in saving the people of Israel that day. And they remember it forever. And they sing songs of praise to God about how he's rescued them. Now there's so much happening in this story. There's so many things I could pull out, so I'm just going to try and do my best. One of the things we see here is how God will use bad for good. It's a theme we've explored all throughout the Old Testament right up into this series, and it's no different. You see, God uses Pharaoh's hard heart to display his glory. He uses his stubbornness and change of mind and anger to show his glory to his people in the way that he's able to rescue them from those that are against them. In the same way, we face things in our life where we feel like people are against us. We face situations that are bigger than us, and it seems like people are out to get us. But take heart, because God is in the business of turning around bad things for good. One of the other things we see in this story is something we as people do a lot. You see, God's rescued the people of Israel out of Egypt, and they're on the way to freedom from slavery, but they see massive confrontation ahead of them. They see Pharaoh's army, they see how scary it is to go out and try something new and to do something different. And they're like, it was better for us to be slaves. It was better for us to be in Egypt. It was better then. At least we knew what we were getting ourselves into. And a lot of times that's what it looks like when God calls us to something greater. You see, a lot of us try to stay in our comfort zones because it's what we know. It's comfortable. But God is always calling us to something greater. He's always calling us out of old things into new things because he wants to do something. He wants to use your life and your story to show his glory to other people, so they can get to know him. And it's no different in this story right now. One of the other beautiful things is that when we trust God and trust his plan and trust that he's doing this for our best good and our interest, he always comes through. You see, in the midst of the fear of the people of Israel, in the midst of them complaining about how they want to go back to Egypt, we're too scared to do this, God rescues them. God performs a great miracle through Moses in parting the Red Sea and protecting them from this massive evil enemy that's chasing after them. He covers them, he looks after them, he protects them. And they go into something brand new. And they get to embrace the promise that God had been repeating all throughout Genesis. You see, that's the beautiful thing about the gospel. It's a beautiful thing about the Bible. It's a beautiful thing about our God. It's that even when situations seem hard and scary, when it feels like everything is against us, we can trust him to bring us through. Because at the end of the day, it's his plan, and he is going to get the glory and the victory. And that's what I want to end on. How in your life are you showing God's glory? How in your life are you showing people around you that God is great and that he is the reason you're around, and he's the reason you're here? Because I can encourage you and tell you that God is in the business of using your story to glorify who he is. You know, God does great things through us, but it's not always about us. It's to bless us for sure, and it is for our benefit. But the greater benefit is though that people would know the glory of God. He even says that himself in this passage. Read it. He says, I'm going to rescue you so people will know my glory. and they will know that I am your God. Because the fact of the matter is, God is still trying to bring so many other people back to him, and he's trying to do it through you. He's trying to do it through all the good things he does in your life, so you have the courage to tell people about the goodness of God. So what's something God's done in your life recently? Maybe you're in any one of these positions. Maybe you're scared of going into something new. Maybe you're at the threshold of something new and you're still scared. Maybe you're out of the new thing and you need to tell someone about God's glory. How can we go about doing that? How can we go about telling people about God's glory? And how can we make sure that our lives reflect that and do it justice? Guys, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed today's Life Words video. As always, me and Amy are going to be on Instagram Live on Friday at 4 p.m. to discuss the whole Life Words series, Exodus, and answer your questions. If you like this video, give it a like. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments. And we will see you for the next Life Words video. God bless, guys. Take care.